places where they count, okay, this person has X, has 100 publications while the other has 20, and therefore the 100 is better than 20. Those places which take such kind of route, then there is nothing. So in India, of course, there is a lot of conferences, but not just in India, there are conferences across the world where there are such things, paper basically almost gets published. I guess so often one gets invitations, please submit a paper, invited paper, please submit a, invited paper, so you may feel good about it, it's invited paper, but what thereafter is your registration fees or something like that. So in any case, so that also we've all sort of realized, so most of us will not fall in that trap. And even if I do, I don't think my colleagues will count that contribution of mine as anything. So maybe I won't even put it in my CV. So most people would know how to figure it out. No. Yes.
How is the impact factor over there?
So I think you have to go and look at that the exact formula, but the impact factor by and large is based on citations. So how many people cited an average paper of that journal over a certain period of time. I think it's last year or averaged over here. So you have to go and look at the definition, just, if you read Web Science or whichever calculation, you can look at the exact definition. But broadly, it is about journal has published 100 papers last year. They will look at how many citations of these 100 papers have happened in a certain period of time, average it out, and based on that, they will decide the impact. By and large, that's the main theme. Citations, how many people cite is the main thing. No, that's the main factor that goes. So I would imagine that it has to be dynamic. See, any impact factor has to be dynamic. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense, right? Because then if you don't make it dynamic, you're going to say that once a conference or journal becomes good, it will never become bad. That clearly is not the case, or the other way around. But it may not be as dynamic as this thing. So they might be computing it every year or every session. So impact factors, for example, for software, it is in various sites there, but web, what is that, Web of Science or Science Web or something, that's a fairly official sort of thing there. But impact factors are available. For journals, it's there. For conferences also now it's there. Conference rankings are there. There's a Chinese academy which does it. There's an Australian thing. There is something. So there's now all these things have evolved. You can also do your, of course, Google Scholar will tell you, but now for a paper, etc., citations are available very easily. Right? You can just put in a name and you can get all the citations of that person, or you can put a paper, so citation count. Google Scholar will give you citation count, or DVLP will give you, or the CiteSphere will give you. So various places you can get citation count. So all that information now is there. It's just that you have to accept, you have to start using them and accepting it, not be just satisfied by, okay, my paper appeared in XYZ. Maybe it appeared, but nobody ever looked at it. Which is the case with 80% or maybe 90% of the papers. Nobody ever reads them. 90% of the papers probably are not read, are not cited. I would imagine. 90% of the papers are probably not cited at all. Alright? So I think we are, yes ma'am.
Suppose I'm doing my research and
suppose I'm doing my research in deemed university. There are many private universities also. So which university will be gaining more weightage? Where will be I have weightage?
I guess there must be university rankings also, some kind or other. However, I think in research is one area where University matters to some extent, but to another extent it doesn't matter. Because of all these things that you mentioned, citations of your paper, etc., etc., all those things are not tied to the university. So theoretically you can write a very good paper, get cited 1,000 times, and you can claim excellence. Doesn't matter which university you got it from. Okay? Having said that, if you apply for, see, these citations will take maybe a few years to develop. So you apply, you may have done some very good work, but citations will take years to come. So in the start, we will always look at, so I can tell you how we would look at in our institute. We, for example, do not consider anyone, even shortlist anyone who does not have PhD from the top ranking institutes. But even within that, then we will look at the places where your papers have appeared. So university has a filtering role, but if you can somehow say, look, I published my papers in these top tier conferences and top journals, I think you can still get your foot in the door. So if the university is not highly ranked, then your work has to be extraordinarily good to break over that, but you can do it.